Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you are all having a wonderful Wednesday wherever you are. I am running the show solo again today as Jared is still in the States at the General Conference. It's finished now, but he's on his way home. This week on Record Live, we are doing something a little different as per usual. While Jared was in St. Louis for the General Conference, he was able to have a conversation with Pastor Glenn Townend, who was re-elected as president of the South Pacific Division. So today we're going to play that conversation that Jared had with him, and that'll just give you a bit of insight into how Glenn feels about being re-elected, and also what his hopes and plans are for the church moving forward. So I might just pull that up and we will get that going.
Hi, I'm Jared Stackeroff, and we are here in the Adventist Review studio at the General Conference session in St. Today by Pastor Glenn Townend. He is one of the vice presidents of the General Conference for the region of the South Pacific Division. Welcome, Glenn. It's good to have you.
Nice to be here, Jared.
Now, for those who may not know the scope of the South Pacific Division, can you tell us a little bit of the context? What does the church look like in that part of the world?
So the church in the South Pacific is a lot of Pacific Ocean. So there's a lot of tiny islands. As far as our church membership goes, we have the most in the Melanesian countries, Papua New Guinea, Solomon Islands, Vanuatu and Fiji. And then we have the Polynesian islands of Tonga, Samoa, American Samoa, Tuvalu, a few there, and Kiribati with Micronesia. Then there's Australia and New Zealand. So, yeah.
And it's the biggest division in terms of territory, but there's not a lot of land that people can live on because it's mostly ocean.
It is. And so it means a lot of flying or going by boat, but we mainly fly these days.
Now, you've just been re-elected as the division president for the third time. So you've done 10 years, and this will be your next term. How does it feel? How does it feel to be elected? You've done this before, is there any sort of trepidation, any sort of worry leading up to it, or is it sort of just see what happens?
Look, you're always thinking about, what does God want for me? Does God want for the church? And to be asked to do it for a third time, it's quite humbling to think, with our people, we've set a direction, we've worked with God and the people, and God and the people want it to continue. So it is quite humbling, and you kind of go, wow, what an opportunity. Let's see that we can do even better and see God do some greater things than what's happened in the last 10 years.
And speaking of the past 10 years, what sort of would your highlights be? What do you feel like you've achieved or seen the church and seen God working in the South Pacific?
Our focus on discipleship and disciple making has been very, very clear. And our resourcing for that in different cultures. We've seen media grow significantly in radio, TV, digital, in different places. Like Papua New Guinea now has not only radio around the country, but television. And Australia, with Faith FM. So yeah, media's been big. And then in health, the 10,000 toes, it's kind of exploded. I mean, we're doing health in other places, but in the Pacific Islands particularly, dealing with lifestyle diseases and dealing them with lifestyle health message, it's simple, it's not expensive, and people are really jumping on board. And, you know, I guess the highlight of putting it all together was certainly P&G for Christ, where I've been involved in programs before and there, but this was huge, and the thousands of people that just kept coming. And it was all over the country. Like, it wasn't just in one spot. And it didn't matter who you were. You could have been a first-time preacher or a seasoned evangelist. You could have been, you know, we say the right of the church or the left of whatever. God just did his thing if we were preaching God's last day gospel message.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's some of the highlights.
For those that may not know in our audience, 10,000 Toes is an initiative that deals with particularly type 2 diabetes, lifestyle diseases, because some of our Pacific countries have like the highest rates of diabetes in the world.
South Pacific, Australia, New Zealand, the rest of the Pacific, we are the highest with diabetes. And that is not a good thing. And type 2 diabetes, with good intervention, lifestyle, can be reversible and medically and scientifically proven through the kind of the methods that we know as an Adventist health message.
On the first Sabbath, Pastor Ayrton Kola was talking about sort of, it seems his emphasis is he's got a strong background in media evangelism, youth. He was saying, be bold and go with the mission. How does that look for the South Pacific Division?
Coming up, we are being bold, and you can't replicate what happened in Papua New Guinea in 2024. But we learnt so much there. We're applying those principles next year to the Trans-Pacific, and those countries, the 11 countries there, all planning reaping programs and are praying now and doing lots of community service and health work to help people. And then say, you know, well, if you enjoy the help and want to know the God that we know, we've got these programs coming. And so we're going to do that in the Trans-Pacific, and then New Zealand and the French places in the Cook Islands, and then Australia, and then Papua New Guinea again.
Right.
And what happens there, which is really good, because we talked about that diversity, all of the unions, Papua New Guinea, Australia, New Zealand, Pacific, will go to the Trans-Pacific next year. And there'll be a couple of hundred preachers coming in, and so they will get to experience the culture of Fiji, Samoa, Solomons, Kiribati, and all of that. And whatever God does there, they go back to their places. They've got extra learning. They've been on fire because of what God's doing. And then that spreads and has an impact back in their own home churches and unions.
And this strategic plan has already sort of been set for...
Yeah, we worked on it based on the General Conference strategic plan.
Yes.
And so... there, one part, the last part of that is mission for all. And the one before that is unity in the Spirit. And so we see the Spirit working and in God's mission. And that's why all of these, that particular emphasis. Another emphasis that we'll be having is leadership development. Now, we've done lots of good leadership development. But we're wanting our leaders to understand the different cultures. Now, I've been blessed.
Yes.
I'm an Australian. My father's a New Zealander. I grew up in Papua New Guinea. I worked in Fiji.
Yep.
That's all of the unions.
You've had the experience around the
yeah. And that's unique.
Yes.
Now, there's one or two other people like that, but many of our leaders haven't had that opportunity. So we're wanting to expose like Papua New Guineans to work in New Zealand or Australians to work in Fiji.
Yes.
And we're looking at doing that in lots of different ways. So that, there is a communal understanding in the Pacific to a more individual understanding in Australia and New Zealand.
Yes.
Australia and New Zealand really time conscious.
Yes.
Pacific, yeah, as long as it happens.
Yep.
Around the time.
Yes. Yes.
And understanding, those differences and what matters and how to deal with it. And apply church policy across the cultures.
Different cultures. We can learn from each other.
Absolutely.
Collaborate together.
Yeah.
And go forward together. I really like that idea. So, I've worked for the church for a little while, and I was privileged to be part of one of the leadership programs that's being provided by the SPD, and that was a really good thing, because I think in the church often we become good at our jobs, so we get higher responsibilities, but we don't always have some of the mentoring and the training.
Yeah.
And so the program's very practical, and now we're adding this cross-cultural component. I think that sounds really great.
Yeah. Well, that's part of the strategic plan. Like,
Yes.
we see what we've done and people have said it's good, but then we've also discovered, hey, we're something missing.
Yes, yes.
And so for some, not everyone, but we'll do a lot more cross-cultural things so that and so that's the process. And I think that's what, any strategic plan and focus should do. And I mean, we work with the General Conference focus on leadership.
Yes.
And they use Andrews University and their leadership department. And so we're giving input there, and they're giving input to us. And so that's, being part of the General Conference, there's benefits there. And I mean, the General Conference helped with Papua New Guinea for Christ.
Yes.
They're going to help with South Pacific Division for Christ. We've got some of the leaders coming, and so they learn about us and we learn about them. And it's good seeing that cooperation, the unity.
Yep.
People like seeing it.
Yeah.
I like seeing it
Yes.
and being a part of it.
Speaking of that cooperation and that unity, the SPD is now involved in a partnership or a sister division kind of arrangement with the SSD. Can you tell us a little bit about that program?
Yeah, well, we've got the South Pacific Division's got the best ratio of people to population. So 1 in every 55 people.
Yes.
Are Seventh-day Adventist in our territory. Now, it's only a small 46, 47 million, but we in the past, early 1900s, we were the first pioneer missionaries to Asia. The Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia, and all of that. And we used to oversee that area.
Yes.
But in time, that changed. And in those areas now, there are still places, 1 in 10,000 people are Adventist. Now, and so we've got all of our 4 unions have adopted a union in the Southern Asia Pacific.
Yes.
So New Zealand Pacific have adopted Malaysia. Australia has adopted the new Southeast Asian Union. TPUM have adopted the West Indonesia, and Papua New Guinea, East Indonesia, because they share a border.
Yes, yes, yes.
And we're sending missionaries to those places. There's 40 something from the Trans-Pacific in West Indonesia already. And there's some in Timor-Leste. Australia have sent a few, not as many, to the Southeast Asia, but have got more plans, and have done a lot more volunteer stuff. Papua New Guinea and West Papua, continual cooperation, and yeah, we're excited, and they seem to be happy about it because we're saying, hey, the mission, we're succeeding. We want to share that with others, and they're willing to accommodate us, and it's going to be great learning.
Yes.
Because you talk about the cross-cultural thing, we're going to Asia now.
Yes.
And our people from all over the division will come back with Asian experience and perspective. And when you learn from different cultures and how you see the gospel working in different ways, and church, the way the church operates, you come back a whole lot better. And say, hey, this can work, and this will make our work better. So, yeah, we're excited by that.
Pastor Glenn, your passion for mission is really shining through.
It comes out of, yeah.
and it's great to see. We're very privileged to have you give us some time. I know you've been very busy at these meetings. You've got a lot of meetings outside the normal meetings as well. So we really appreciate you joining us here. And may God bless you for the next 5 years.
Thanks, Jared. Appreciate that, and would covet people's prayers.
There we go. We can pray for the president, and that will give him much support. Thank you for joining us today. God bless.
There you have it. That was Jared and Glenn at the General Conference. It sounds like, to me, that sounds like, after listening to it, that the emphasis is unity and cooperation in the South Pacific. And I think it's awesome to hear that Glenn has had experience in all of those unions. We'll have to get him on again soon so that you can all ask him questions in the live comments. But I hope that you are all able to join in on the General Conference live sessions, hear some conversations, be inspired, and listen to some of the decisions that were made there. That's a bit of a shorter conversation on Record Live today than usual, but sometimes less is best. So we will leave it there, and next week we will be talking to Dane from the Worship Project on what it looks like to live a more holistic life of worship. So I hope you all have a good rest of the day, and we'll see you next week.